I am Mr. Beat. I hope you're doing well, and thanks for joining us today as we look at a beautiful map. And if you know anything about myself, I love maps. I've always been fascinated by maps. At one time, I wanted to be a cartographer, but that was before I realized I wasn't that good at math. But yeah, I when I was a kid, I would just stare at maps for hours. And something that a lot of people don't realize about maps is they're always changing, even in recent years. Like there's this kind of misconception that maps are static and that it's been that way forever. But even in American history, we've had lots of changes to our map, especially due to the endless expansion of the country over the years. And so it is pretty revealing to go back and look at old maps and to assume that our current map that we have with our weird borders. I'm looking at you, Maryland. Uh, don't assume that they're going to stay that way because uh, it's just they're arbitrary in many ways. A lot of times maps are the borders are just kind of like what, why, and you learn the history of them and it's like that's why would that border exist, that's crazy. So I think it is always a good idea to kind of from time to time re-examine, reevaluate our current borders that we have. And so within the United States, we do have 50 states. There's constantly talk of adding a 51st state or 52nd, maybe Puerto Rico, maybe DC. But even then, those borders wouldn't change. But there's also talk sometimes of like people wanting to break away within a state and form their own state, like Jefferson in California. We have nothing in common with the rest of the state. Why should we stick with them? So they feel underrepresented. So, and you all know how important representation is for me, being in a supposed representative democracy, a republic. We should, feel like our representatives in Washington, D.C. really are voting in our best interest. So, without me rambling any further, a couple months ago, a viewer of the channel reached out to me and sent me a map that he had made, and I was quite impressed. I loved it, and it's a something just to mostly. It's a hypothetical. It's what if you redrew all the states and you tried your very best to make every state have approximately the same population. So every single state was roughly the same population, and you try to do it in a way where you were grouping together residents who had things in common, shared heritage, culture, stuff like that. And instead of 50, let's just make it 100. So I'm going to introduce to you the creator of such a map that it's been on Reddit. If you follow the subreddit map porn, you might have seen it there, maybe other places. But Doug, is it Alcedo? Is it
Alcedo.
Alcedo?
Hey,
Doug Alcedo. I should ask you that before we went on the air. But welcome, Doug,
hey, thank
the
you.
creator of this map we're going to look at. So thanks for joining me in this live stream.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. And if you want to first just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Doug. I kind of similarly to Mr. Beat, I just loved looking at maps ever since I was a little kid, and um, um, I want to say in like the mid 2010s, sometime somebody made a map of 50 equally populated states, and I was very interested in that. And I tried many times to make something similar. Um, Finally, I came up with a way to use this map that the U.S. Census makes to kind of estimate state populations. And uh, the first time was very rough. I came out with like 39 states, so clearly there was some mistakes there. but I shared it anyway. People really liked it. Then I made a 50 state one, and then I thought, why not make it 100? And then people really wanted me to name them, so I named the states, and I got a lot of positive feedback for it, and so yeah, it's been really cool. And I'm happy to share it with you guys.
All right. Well, here is the map. Actually, let me try to do this in a way where, oh gosh, what did I do before? There it is. Okay, here is the map. We're going to look at it and obviously zoom in on each of the 100 states and regions. But I think the coolest thing about it, it's a nice even number. It's twice as much as we have now, and I think a lot of Americans complain that we don't have enough representation. So we need more representatives. And so if we decide in the future, like, you know, we still want to have senators, we still want to have a bicameral legislative branch where there's two houses, the Senate and House of Representatives. So if you still have states where there's only two senators per state representing, maybe something like this makes a lot more sense, and it would appease a lot more people that don't like the way that the Senate is set up, which was set up in the 1780s. So many argue it's antiquated, not up with times. So yeah, like I think at the very least, I'm hoping this live stream, us looking at this map and talking about it, will hopefully generate a conversation moving forward. A lot of folks watching are younger. I'm not sure how old you are, Doug, but like, who knows how many people could watching this who will later actually have the power to do something about this.
No, that's true.
It's weird to think about 30 years in the future. Anyway, so my audio is cutting out. It's fine now. Okay, looks like, yeah. Let me know in the somebody said that they farted. Sorry about that. But yeah, in the comments, we will respond as best we can to the comments. Obviously, a super chat will have priority as we look at this map. But Doug, this is the latest version of this. When did you make this one?
This is from July of last year, so I haven't really worked on it or made any major updates in about a year.
And it's based off the census data from 2020?
Actually, no. At the time I started working on it, it was the census estimates from 2019.
Okay, well, close enough.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to let you share your map on your side, and if you could first zoom in on the Northeast, the New England area. Okay.
Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, and it's such a high res image, which, by the way, I think.
My question to you is, are we going to check every single one of these expiration dates, or do we let it all go?
Because well, I mean, a lot of this stuff has never even been opened.
Okay, knowing the contaminants and all the stuff that's in the air, do you really, really, really want to be putting this stuff in your body?
Okay, really? I guess let it go.
All right.
It's a little bit mangled here, but
it hasn't even been refrigerated.
It's still perfectly good. I could still eat it. This has never been opened.
This is covered in mold.
It might be a little bit moldy because I don't have a freezer.
So you're going to eat moldy bread?
No, I'm going to pick the mold up.
We're starting to hit her anxiety. The hoarder in her is coming out.
Just some of that stuff I just got from the food bank. Some of it is expired, yes. Most of it probably is.
Shanna, the problem is it's not good, usable food. Just because you got it 2 weeks ago doesn't mean that it's good.
Well, some of it's never been opened.
But the problem is it's all on the outside of the container. So when you pick it up, you're handling it, and then you touch other things, and then it cross-contaminates. We started with a biohazard crew.
No, I understand that.
99% of the time, the biohazard crew comes on the final day when we've cleaned up. Okay? This is the first time in hoarder history I've ever suited up No matter how many times we try to explain to her, there are contaminants in the air. There's cross-contamination going on. The outside of the cans are touching fecal matter, urine, black mold. It's not safe. She's not getting it.
I'm not going to bring in those salad blends in a container, never been opened, to waste it.
There's fecal matter all over this house. I would not eat a salad that had poop on it.
Well, I'm still hell-bent.
Nigga, 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 nigga. I'm 100% nigga. Nigga, 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 nigga. I'm 200% nigga. Nigga, nigga, nigga.